Traditionally, the Suzuki S-Cross has been something of a niche choice in the mid-size family SUV market, and we think we know why. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but to our eye, the previous generation of the car was a bit of an ugly duckling compared with its smart and stylish rivals. It's just as well then that there's a new S-Cross in town. You'll make up your own mind on whether the latest version has transformed into the proverbial beautiful swan, but we'd say it looks just a lot less awkward. Will it have enough appeal in other areas to become a more mainstream player? Before we find out, why not subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel? Just click up here. Couldn't be more simple. So what about these new looks? Well, all the fussiness of the previous car's headlights and grille have been replaced with a design that's more conventional and sophisticated. Meanwhile, the general proportions of the car, the roofline in particular, have become more boxy and square, which makes it look more like an SUV than a jacked up hatchback. At the back of the car, this upright rear end now has a strip connecting the tail lights right across the tailgate, and when you open the tailgate, you are greeted by a boot which is 430 litres in size, and that should be big enough for most families' needs. You've also got rear seats that fold down in a conventional 60-40 split and a false boot floor that you can use to level off both the boot lip and the step to the folded seats. In the back seats, the space is less impressive. The cushion that you sit on is quite high, and in the ultra spec cars, which this one is, it's got a panoramic sunroof. Those two things combined mean that if you're quite tall, you're going to suffer a little bit with a lack of headroom. Now, I'm only 5'4½", so I'm okay, but you don't need to be much taller than me before it gets a little bit squishy. And that is a shame because legroom is actually quite generous. Happily, the space you get up front is much better. Plus, it's really easy to find a comfortable driving position because there's plenty of adjustment in the seat and the steering wheel, so you can really take your time to get that perfect driving position. And visibility in all directions is excellent, which makes parking manoeuvres a doddle. But if you still need a little bit of extra help, then all versions come with front and rear parking sensors and a reversing camera. The layout of the dashboard is conventional and logical, with your touchscreen at the top and physical aircon controls below. The touchscreen system isn't the slickest looking unit you'll ever come across, but it's also fairly intuitive to use and comes with all the functionality you expect, including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It should be noted though that the entry-level Motion model comes with a 7-inch screen and not the 9-inch screen that's in this car, the top spec Ultra. Now, in terms of quality, there's some lovely materials and the build quality is really good. It's definitely better than the previous generation S-Cross, but compared with its mid-size SUV rivals, it's just not quite as sophisticated. But how sophisticated does it feel on the road? Now, Suzuki will proudly pronounce to anyone that will listen that the new S-Cross, just like the firm's other new cars, is a hybrid. Now, be aware, the word hybrid can mean many different things, and on the hybrid scale, the S-Cross is about as mild as it gets. On the one end of the scale, you've got plug-in hybrids where you charge up with a cable, allowing you to travel many, many miles on electric power alone. At the other end of the scale, there's the S-Cross, which has what is essentially a posh starter motor that delivers a little extra boost of power when pulling away to take a little burden off the petrol engine. That motor is powered by a small battery that's topped up by recycling energy from braking and deceleration. No plugging in, and importantly, no electric only running. So the efficiency gains are a lot more marginal than the word hybrid might suggest. However, despite being misleading, the powertrain is actually really good. The 1.4-litre turbocharged booster jet engine is moderately powered at 127 brake horsepower, but the power delivery is satisfyingly strong virtually anywhere in the rev range, and it doesn't mind being worked hard. It stays smooth and quiet no matter how hard you work it. The standard 6-speed manual gearbox is hampered by a slightly notchy shift action. While you can specify a 6-speed automatic as an option, it's a tiny bit slow in its responsive, but swaps gears smoothly enough. Elsewhere, the S-Cross road manners are, well, adequate. It doesn't do anything particularly badly, but then it doesn't do anything particularly special either. Take ride comfort, for example. There's a slight firm edge to the suspension, so you often feel a patter. But then also, it's not as settled as some other cars, but then it's not uncomfortable either. The The handling is similarly adequate. There's plenty of grip and the body doesn't lean over unduly in corners. However, the steering is overly light, rather slow to react, and pretty much devoid of feel, so there isn't much fun to be had. Choose the top spec Ultra version and you get four-wheel drive, and that gives the S-Cross some ability in the rough stuff. Okay, so you're not going to be scaling the north face of the Eiger or anything, but it should be able to handle a muddy field. So, the S-Cross isn't perfect then, with limitations on practicality, ride comfort and cabin quality, but it is better on all those scores and in many other ways than the car it replaces. That alone makes it a more compelling choice than the previous S-Cross and a more credible rival to super popular cars such as the Nissan Qashqai, Peugeot 3008 and Kia Sportage. Throw in the fact that it costs less to buy than most of its rivals and comes with more standard equipment, and it makes it all the more compelling. Would you have the Suzuki S-Cross as your next family SUV, or would you stick with one of the more established favourites? Please do let us know in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe as well. And if you fancy buying an S-Cross or any other car for that matter, head over to cargurus.co.uk for a great deal from a top-rated dealer.